So good morning to all. So today's topic is data analytics services from AWS. So in this data analytics services, we have many services by AWS which is offering like Athena, Kinesis, Glue, QuickSight and Redshift. So why these analytics services are necessary and offered by AWS? So the need of data analytics services which encompass a cloud-based tools which is designed to analyze and drive insights throughout the data. So AWS provides a variety of services for the different analytics that includes storage, processing, querying and visualization. So some of the data analytics services includes Amazon S3, Redshift, Athena, EMR, Glue, QuickSight and Kinesis. So our today's discussion, we will discuss about Amazon Athena, Glue, QuickSight and Kinesis. Along with that, what is the use of Redshift for analysis the data? So normally AWS offers the storage in two ways. One is by using simple storage service like S3, other one is by using databases like either relational databases and non-relational databases. So here by using these three data storages like storage devices as well as databases, we can analyze the data by using data analytics services provided by the AWS with the help of Athena, Glue, QuickSight and Kinesis. So this is the importance of AWS data analytics services. So what is Athena? So let us see the definition of Athena here. It is a serverless query service that enables users to analyze the data stored in S3 using a standard SQL format, and Elastic MapReduce, which is a big data processing tool which processes large data sets using a popular framework such as Apache Spark and Apache Hadoop, and AWS Glue, which is a fully extract, transform, load service that performs loaded operations data from the S3, which can act as a crawler for the Athena. So wherever the source has been provided in simple storage service like S3, that can be crawled to identify what is the target database for that or what is the target source file for that. So Glue can integrate with Athena to get the path, absolute path from where the data is to be read. And the next one is Amazon QuickSight. So here it is a business analytic tools which can create a visualize interactive dashboards, and the Kinesis. So this is a real-time streaming data processing system where it have different versions like data streams, fire hoses and data analytics. So wherein the Amazon Kinesis data streams will process the real-time data. So like video streams are also there, real-time videos can be processed by video streams, and data analytics like it is a data warehouse services for that. So like this here 7 services for data analytics services offered by an AWS. So S3 and Redshift acts as a data sources, Athena, EMR, Glue, QuickSight and Kinesis for analyzing the data which was stored in databases and S3. So this is the importance of data analysis services. And let us discuss about one by one. What is AWS Glue? So Amazon offers AWS Glue, which is a greatest serverless computing service. So serverless need regarding like it is not having any server, don't mean that here. So serverless means user has to use the service without managing the extra infrastructure or management of infrastructure. User need not worry about that. You cannot customize your own settings, so which can be taken care by the cloud provider itself. So Glue is a powerful serverless computing service. What is Glue? The Glue is performing an ETL service operations which can be used for discovering, preparing and combining the data for data analysis, machine learning, application development. So Glue consists of 3 components, namely the Glue data catalog, ETL engine and which can be developed by Scala code automatically. So Glue data catalog allows for how to quickly relocate and retrieve the data which we already discussed it from the various data sources. So for the Glue, which we can use the customized and monitoring compact data streams which is also available in the Glue service. So basically in this ETL operations can be performed by AWS Glue, extract, transform, load operation. So this is a powerful service like serverless ETL operation service. That is the definition of glue. And see that what ETL means and how it performs extract, transform, load. Extract, see that where we have to extract the data, the source definition should be mentioned in an S3. Like S3 is a storage where you can save all your objects under the bucket. So if you want to retrieve any data from any bucket, we need to mention where is the address of that particular object which was stored under the bucket. So that is to be done by the glue with the help of an extract operation. So it will read all the user data mentioned in an S3 bucket. So it can be done in form of object storage like object read and transform. So where the original data which can be transformed into aggregated forms which are suitable for the end user query. So like relational data we are saving in terms of CSV file in an S3 bucket. It can be retrieved by using like logs, means that every row as well as column we can treat as a data item. So we are transforming that into an appropriate forms which are most suitable for your application to be processed. And load. So before performing the transformation, we need to load the data in appropriate sources for analysis. Like Athena can query the data not directly from an S3. So S3 data can be loaded into suitable forms with the help of databases where we are created by using glue. So after that it can perform an S3 bucket operation by using load operation. So load, which loads the data from S3 source to other sources. So that is about load operation. And so this is like AWS glue operation, how it performs. So here the data store is there. So where the crawler, the glue can act as a crawler to identify in which location the data can be retrieved. Suppose say for example the data store is a database or another data store is like S3. So the glue can be crawled by the data sources like S3 as well as data source called as databases. So what it can perform? It can perform the data catalog operations, like it can perform analysis operations, and after that once it extract the data from the different data sources, it can perform transform operation. So once it done transform operation, the data can be loaded into data target. So by using this target values, the AWS Athena can query the data from this target because this is suitable or appropriate format for an Athena to query the database. So regarding these two components like AWS Management Console and scheduler and event. So when the job to be performed, the transformation we can schedule by using schedule event from the AWS. So these data catalog operations can be carried out by the AWS Management Console. So this is like AWS glue can perform an operations like it can extract the data and it can transform the data and it can load the data to the data target. So this is the exact figure about how AWS glue can work like ETL in terms. And what are the different AWS components, glue components? So it is having different components, like it is a data catalog and it is a classifier. So what is data catalog? See in this figure we see that data catalog means various sources. The data can be converted into various sources which are appropriate for analysis. That is a data catalog. And what is a classifier? You can determine a classifier using common relational databases like CSV files, JSON files, Avro files and XML files. So these are all most common classifications done by an AWS glue, which in terms of the data should be categorized in data catalog like CSV, JSON, Avro and XML file. And the other component from the AWS glue is connection operation. So connection means how it can connect with other data sources. See in this figure, this is a data catalog. From this data source we are taken and from other data sources we are taken. So here before transforming, it need to connect all the databases together, like from the data source or S3, data store from databases. So that is like how glue components can be connected to a certain data store. And there is a crawler. It is a component that crawls various data sources in a single encounter. So it determines the classifiers where metadata catalog can be comes from. Means that it has to crawl entire data source to find out where is the source for that. And there is a database like I told already, like database is a data source for Glue, and data store like it is an S3 bucket too also. So here a databases or data store as S3, we can take that. And the data source where you can take the data which can be utilized as an input, means that where the input has been taken after processing, where the output has been stored. That output format where you store is called as data target. And transform means where logic can be built to transform or utilize the format that will be helpful for end user. So these are all the components from the Glue. So you can see the components of Glue like data catalog, classifier, crawler, data sources, transform. So these are all the various components of the Glue. And developer endpoint, where you can see Glue performs ETL operations. So where the developer has to dynamically frame and which can be sophisticated process for performing an ETL operations. So AWS Glue, it provides a business logic to perform an ETL work. So it is a transformation script. The data sources and data targets are components of the job. So if we want to perform any Glue operation in terms of business logic, that AWS treats it as a job. So the job can have a business logic that is necessary for the ETL work. And when the job can be triggered, as we shown in this diagram, see here, it can be triggered at particular scheduled time. So we can also classify the AWS Glue with the help of trigger when starts an ETL operation, because of an event can be happened at particular moment of time or specific moment of time. The trigger can start its ETL process. And this is an architecture of a Glue, like data stores are there, crawler is there, and this is a data catalog. When schedule an event, after loading to perform transformation, data may be stored in a data target. So after that, any analysis tool can take this data for analysis, or it can perform any other operations like CRUD operations by this data target source. So before any data analysis tool, the Glue can performs all these operations like ETL operations. So these can be given as an input for other data analysis tools, like Athena can search the data from the data target. So this is the use of Glue. And data stores, see, Glue can take the data source. So actually this figure that mentions what are the major data sources that Glue can crawl. So Glue can crawl the data from S3, ODS, Redshift, DynamoDB and JDBC. And there is a data catalog where many database tables are there that mentions what type of data it is crawling. So the crawler is there. So first it takes the data from the S3, and second it can perform the classifiers like the type of file like CSV file, JSON file and other file. The type of file can be mentioned in a classifier. And the third step, it can connect to a S3 because the crawlers need to know where is the data source and what type of file it need to be crawled. So then the third step is it has to search a particular data store. So the particular data store, assume an example as an S3. So it can retrieve the data from the S3 so that it performs an ETL operation and write all this metadata in terms to the data catalog. So this is a target data catalog where other analysis services can take it out from. And this is about AWS Glue. Then the next service, analytics service, which is called as AWS Athena. So what is Athena and what are the key benefits of Athena? So it is an interactive query service. Because it is a serverless service, we can perform query by using this Athena service. So normally it is not an ETL tool. So ETL already done by AWS Glue. So after the ETL operations can be performed in AWS Glue, Athena can take as a data input from the target data target by the Glue. And how Athena works? How Athena works here, that specifies where is the source of data for the Athena. So Athena always takes the source data from an S3. So how Athena works, that helps us to find out where is the data location. So the data loaded in S3, S3 defines a schema. From that schema it has to be queried. So the Athena is a powerful serverless interactive query service. So Athena works only the data which can be stored from the data source called as S3. So this is Athena. So compared to the Glue, Athena is a query service. Glue is not a query service. So Glue is a ETL service. So after performing ETL operations, the data target is given as an input for the Amazon Athena. So this is the relation between Athena and Glue. And why should we use Athena? So we have many interactive query services. So the only source to query the data which can be stored from S3 is Athena. Why? Because so S3 can offers a wide variety of storages in terms of objects. So it is not restricted any type of file or size of file. It can store any data in terms of object, so that Athena can take the data and query the data from the S3 by using a language called as standard SQL language. So it can take all the data like structured, unstructured, CSV, Apache format, column data, JSON format. So these are all different types of data sources from an S3 where we stored Athena can be queried. And AWS services integrated with Athena. So most of the AWS services integrated with Athena. An example like this here: CloudFormation, CloudFront, CloudTrail, load balancing, Glue, IAM, QuickSight, step functions, virtual private cloud. So these are all the most common examples. All this can be integrated with Amazon Athena to query interactively with the help of basic SQL language. So these are all the common services used or integrated with Athena service. Why should we use Athena? The reason for Athena is, if you want to get insights about your data working with whenever, so you can use Athena, and you can use or you can generate a report. So by generating a report, you can explore the data. So these are all the various use cases or advantages by using Athena. So when should you use Athena? You want to generate a report. From that report, you want to get a quick insights on that. So you have to explore the data by using Athena. So if you have an AWS, that can be AWS service called as Glue that can be integrated with Athena. So why we are integrating Glue with Athena? So Athena cannot directly query the data from S3. Definitely you should use Glue because Glue as a crawler for an S3 service where it has to take the source data. So Athena can query the source data from the S3, so that Glue can be help out how to find the source for Athena as an S3. So that is the relation between Amazon Athena and Glue. And so if your account should have an Athena, that the Athena can need an SQL structure data that should be in a form of relational data or a table format data, then it has to be queried. So it has to be queried by using a creating tables, where the tables can be got. The tables you can get from an Glue. So Glue can identify the data source. From the data source, it loaded the data into a database called as tabular format. So that can be taken as an input for the Athena. So that we already discussed it, which is called as data target. And Athena key benefits. So it is start querying instantly because it cannot take much time to query the data. Whenever the data is ready in terms of databases, it start querying, and it scans only how much you read the data from the data source, and it can perform an operations by using SQL, and which is fastest and more reliable one. So these are all the various benefits of Athena. And what are the use cases of Athena? If you see that use cases, you can analyze various CloudTrail events or CloudFront, VPC logs, different like security logs for VPC. So you can analyze easily by using Athena service, and you can integrate with ODBC and JDBCs and other ad hoc log analysis. Like for security concerns, we are using like Guard Duty, Key, Maze, other services from the AWS, how it can be analyze the logs where sensitive information can be protected by Guard Duty. So these are all the various use cases of Athena, and this is the working principle of Athena, where it can take the data from an S3, and a Glue can crawl the data source from S3 that could be stored in a Glue catalog. So from that catalog, so already we seen the data catalog is a relational table format, because Athena can use SQL as a language to interact with this data catalog. So after that we can get the quick sites on the data which can be crawled by using S3 with the help of Glue, and the data can be saved in a data catalog. So this is the working principle of Athena. The first step is you need to upload the data into S3, then set a crawler for the source as an S3, so to crawl the data, after that load the data into a data catalog. So once the data catalog is ready with a table format, then Athena can query using SQL, and whatever the query data, it is visible in terms of visualized data representing in terms of graphs and other formats, that would be help with the QuickSight, because QuickSight is also a powerful serverless service to perform various insights regarding the visualization tools, where you cannot directly take the data either structured or unstructured for analysis. So visualization, the best tool offered by AWS is QuickSight. And this is the cost model. What is the cost for Athena you have to pay? The pay for Athena, you have to pay only for how many number of queries you done, not directly the queries. Number of bytes you scan means that how much data you are scanning to get the answer for the query. So that is Amazon Athena cost, not more than that. So it is taking the data cost for only searching, it is not for retrieving the data. So how much data it was scanned, that is Amazon Athena cost. And these are the features of Athena, like it is to be started very easily queried and performs fastest operations, highly available, secure, and it operates more on with federated databases services. And the next topic is Kinesis. So till now we discussed about Glue and Athena. The other data analytics service is AWS Kinesis. So what is Kinesis? So we already discussed an introduction for Kinesis. It is a real-time streaming processing system. Real-time data can be processed by using AWS Kinesis. So here AWS Kinesis, the definition we can see here, like it can collect, processes, analyzes real-time data, and you can get quick insights with the new information. So this is the real-time processing tool where itself collects the data, processes the data, analyzes the real-time data, and you can get timely insights and you can react quickly with the new information because of the data can be analyzed very quickly by using Kinesis. What are the advantages of Kinesis? It is a real-time processing data and it is fully managed because it is a serverless service. User cannot worry about an infrastructure, and it is scalable. So for streaming the data and process it from hundreds and thousands of data with the low latency. So it can be scalable easily for huge amount of data. And there are different types of Kinesis. We see that Kinesis data streams, Kinesis firehouses, Kinesis video streams. So this is the data streams where it has to take an input from the various data sources, like from sensors, mobiles, like cameras, many input devices are there to capture and input data, like video streams we are getting, and there is a Kinesis data streams exclusively for processing a data. So for processing data, it can use AWS compute services like serverless service called as Lambda and compute service called as EC2, and performs insights as in terms of output. And this is a video stream same fashion. Many video device display devices are there, or video capturing devices are there, and it can use video streams and video analysis. It takes like AWS machine learning tools like TensorFlow services and SageMaker. And Kinesis Firehouse. So this is like a data warehouse. It can send the data from various input sources and it can place the data into Firehouse. So this is just like not for processing the data. It is just like storage, like Amazon S3, Redshift and Elasticsearch service, it can place the data. So once the Firehouse is fully loaded with all this type of data, it can categorize the data into multiple destinations. So from the destinations, we can get the insights. So this is the Firehouse. It is like a warehouse for data. And data analysis services. See here, till now we seen the three different types: Kinesis data streams, Kinesis video streams, Kinesis firehouses, where analysis and streaming can be done by using data analysis tool. So these are all different formats where it is an input for the data analytics tools. It can give insights about this. And these are all the various applications where Kinesis use: video analytical applications, batch and real-time analysis, real-time applications, and analyzing the IoT devices. And Kinesis versus SKS. So Kinesis is for collect and process the real-time data, and SKS means simple queue service to manage the data, because of it can be operated in first in first out fashion. The request can be processed by using SQS with the Kinesis. And how Kinesis works? The Kinesis works like this: different producers are there and different computing services are there, different data storages are there. So meanwhile, all the shards can be given as an input for the compute service. And the last one, we have discussing about Amazon QuickSight. So where you have to take an insights about your data. Amazon QuickSight will provide a smart visualization. So it is a Power BI tool. So business intelligence can be got and insights from your data by using QuickSight. So this is a retail example. If you want to analyze an online shopping data, so the manager wants to visualize the data. So to get an insights very powerfully, you can use QuickSights, and you can log in the data by using that. So it can be swiped and stored the data. After that, it can be associated with all the customer data in a databases. So the QuickSight can give an insights how many customers are entered. So like that you can get the insights. So this is the features of the QuickSight. It is a super fast engine, and it can be viewed in terms of graphs like a data, and you can provide data source of any choices. So these are all three major important features of the Amazon QuickSight. And the last one is Redshift. So Redshift is a powerful PostgreSQL service. So it is like a data warehouse tool which can perform OLAP operations, online analytical operations, so which can store the data in columnar storage format. And this is an online analytical tool for warehouse. It can store a massively parallel language query. So means that parallel query execution. In SQL we can query once at a time. By using this massive parallel query, you can take either QuickSight or Tableau to integrate with. And it is having a spectrum called as DynamoDB, and which is having 128 nodes can be processed parallelly, and result of aggregation you can take, and the Redshift spectrum can directly query the data against the S3. How to load the data into Redshift? So once a Firehouse is there, because Firehouse is a data warehouse source, and that source can be transformed as an S3 copy through either virtual private cloud or in internet if you want to take it as public, and the data will be copied to an EC2 instance that can be computed by the source of S3 as well as Firehouse, and the data can be finally loaded into Redshift. So that's all about this session. So this session we discussed about AWS data analytics services called as Athena, Kinesis, Glue, QuickSight and Redshift. Thank you.